The Pennsylvania Online Assessment Program includes the Classroom Diagnostic Tools, or CDT, the Pennsylvania System of School Assessment, or PSSA, and the Keystone exams. To begin an online assessment, select the DRC Insight Online Assessments icon on your screen. You will be directed by your test administrator or teacher to select either the Online Tools Training or the Test Sign-In option. Double-check to make sure the title and icon match what you have been directed to select. If you are directed to select an Online Tools Training option, there are additional options from which to choose. Each will provide you with the opportunity to practice with the tools and features for a specific online test. When you select one of these options for the Online Tools Training, the Sign-In window opens. If you are directed to select Test Sign-In instead of the Online Tools Training, the Sign-In window will open first. Here, enter your username and password. For the Online Tools Training, the username and password are provided just above the white sign-in boxes. Enter the information exactly as it is shown. If you are directed to select Test Sign-In instead of the Online Tools Training, your test administrator will give you a student login ticket or test ticket with your username and password. This is an example of what a student login ticket or test ticket will look like. When you have pressed the Sign-In button, the Welcome screen opens. Make sure that the information displayed on the Welcome screen is correct. Check your name, the name of the test that you are taking, the name of the test session, the name of your school, and your PA Secure ID. If any of this information is incorrect, raise your hand to notify your teacher or test administrator. If all of the information is correct, select the Continue button. Your teacher or test administrator will then tell you to select the test name to start the test. There may be more than one test name or session shown, so make certain that you select the correct test name. Above the general test directions is a reminder that your test materials are copyrighted materials owned by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Do not copy or photograph any of your test materials. Once you have read this, your administrator will then begin to read the general test directions. Read the general test directions silently as your test administrator reads them aloud. Make sure to use the scroll bar on the right to read the information not immediately visible on the screen. You will then be given the test-specific test directions to read silently as your test administrator reads them aloud. These directions will vary depending on the test section you are taking. Your test administrator will tell you when you may select the Begin the Test button. Do not select the button until your test administrator tells you to begin. Before you begin the first section of your test, you will be asked to verify that you understand the Code of Conduct for test takers. Your test administrator will read this statement to you. If you understand the Code of Conduct for test takers that your test administrator has reviewed with you, select the bubble. If you do not understand this Code of Conduct, raise your hand and your test administrator will answer any questions you have. Be sure to ask any questions you have before you select the bubble. Once you select the bubble, select the Review End Test button and then follow the on-screen directions. The test administrator will continue to guide you as you begin the next section of the test. The question screen shows the subject, the question number, and your name. Before responding to a passage-based question, first read the entire passage and review any pictures or charts. When there is more text that is not immediately visible on the screen, the words "More text below" and "More text above" will appear. Use the scroll bar on the right-hand side of the passage to view the rest of the passage text. There are tools above and below the test question to help you complete your online test. The pointer tool is just like a mouse pointer. Use it to select other tools, move boxes, select answers, and perform other actions. You can also use the Tab key on your keyboard to move between tools, and then use the Enter key to select the tool. For some tools, the Escape key will close the tool. Use the Cross-Off tool to eliminate an answer choice that you believe is not correct. Note: in order to answer the question, you must select one of the answer choices using the Pointer tool. Use the Highlighter tool to highlight important information. You can highlight most text and graphics within a test question. Remove all highlighting by selecting Clear All from the menu. Use the Sticky Note tool to type notes you can use for future reference. You can have more than one sticky note, and you can reposition, close, hide, show, reopen, and delete them. Cross-offs, highlighting, and sticky notes will be saved with the question when you move to a different question. Use the magnifier tool to increase the size of the image on your screen. You have 2 magnification levels to choose from. Use the scroll bars or your pointer to move around the screen. To close the magnifier tool, press the Escape key or select the magnifier tool and then select Off. Sometimes a portion of a question will have a graphic or a checklist that must be made bigger in order to clearly see it. Select the Enlarge button to see the graphic in a larger format. Use the Line Guide tool to help you track a single line of text. Use the handle on the right side to drag the line guide. To close the line guide, select the tool again. Use the Masking tool to cover content that may be distracting. Select the masking box to resize and reposition. You can have more than one masking box, and you can hide, show, and delete them. When you have responded to a question, select the next arrow to move on to the next question. To move to a different question on the test, select the down arrow next to the question number and select a different question. You can pause your test by selecting the Pause button at the bottom of your screen. A test can only be paused for up to 20 minutes. You must select the Resume button before the clock counts down to 0. Use the Flag button to mark a question to remind you to review the question later. Select the Review and Test button to see all of the test questions you have flagged for review. You can go back to a question by pressing anywhere on the row that represents the question. When you end your test, flags do not have to be removed. The responses to all flagged questions will still be scored. Some questions will require you to select answers to 2 parts. In Part 1, only one of the answers is correct. Part 2 will tell you how many correct answers there are. The answer to Part 2 will be based on your answer to Part 1. In addition to selecting your answer from answer choices provided to you, some questions on this test will require that you construct your response. More information about responding to short answer questions or text-dependent analysis questions can also be found by watching the Advanced Tools tutorial videos. When you are asked to type a response, you will use your keyboard to type and edit your response within the space provided. Below the response space are 2 numbers. These numbers represent the number of characters you have typed and the maximum number of characters you can enter. Keyboard editing controls like Ctrl X, C, and V can be used to cut, copy, and paste within the response space. The maximum number of characters available will be different depending on the type of question you are being asked to respond to. Some questions will have more information available by selecting the Enlarge button. This information can be repositioned as necessary. For additional information about responding to questions that require you to type a response, select the Help button above the test question. When you select Help, you can read more information about how to use the tools and features available to you during your online test. You can access help at any time during your test. Scoring guidelines are available in the Help library. They are examples of the scoring guidelines that professional scorers will use to evaluate your responses. You may refer to these scoring guidelines at any time. Some questions will require you to select answers in 2 parts. In Part 1, only one of the answers is correct. In Part 2, you will select a response or responses that support the choice you made in Part 1. The question will tell you how many answers to select in Part 2. In some questions, there will be 2 answers in Part 2. Use the pointer tool to select the answers you choose. If you want to change an answer, select the answer again to remove your choice. It is important to become familiar with the tools and features of online assessment before testing day. The Online Tools Training Program is designed to give you an opportunity to explore an online assessment, to practice using the tools and features of online assessments, and to respond to sample test questions. To begin exploring the Online Tools Training, select the DRC Insight Online Assessments icon on your screen. Once the program starts, select the Online Tools Training for the test you will be taking. You can select from the available training sessions by selecting from the list. The available Online Tools Training course sessions will appear below the content name. Select the training session you want to review by clicking on the subject and then selecting the grade or course name. Enter the username and password as they are shown just above the sign-in boxes. Once the welcome screen opens, follow the on-screen instructions to begin. Be sure to read the directions before starting your Online Tools Training session. Within each Online Tools Training program, look for on-screen practice hints. These hints will help guide you to practice and explore specific tools and features important to your online assessment. Try out the tool buttons at the top and the navigation and general testing aids at the bottom. Explore each test item and any text, picture, or chart. Answer the practice questions and review your progress using the Review and Test button. You are allowed to sign in and take any online tools training course as many times as you like. Ask your teacher for more information about how you can take an online tools training. Instructions for using online tools and features are available to you during your online assessment when you access the Help library. Select the question mark symbol in the upper right corner to open the Help library. Then select Open Help. Use your pointer to browse any of the available topics, including testing tools, navigation tools, and how-to information. In addition, the Help library also contains information about test directions and scoring guidelines. Information may vary depending on the test you are taking. There may be more than one set of directions and more than one scoring guideline. When you use certain features like the sticky note tool, equation builder, or a reference sheet, for example, look for this question mark symbol in the corner of the feature. You can access specific related help information in the Help library by selecting this question mark symbol. If you are unsure what a tool button is for, select the question mark and then select the What's This option. Question marks will appear inside each button. When you select a button, the Help library will open to the specific information about the functions of that tool or feature. When you are ready to finish your test, select the Review and Test button in the lower left-hand corner. When you select the Review and Test button, the test review screen opens. Check to be sure you have answered each question and checked all flagged questions. If you have left a question unanswered or if you have flagged a question as a reminder, you have an opportunity to return to that question. To return to a test question, select anywhere on the row that represents the question. After selecting a test question row, you are returned to that question. Note: on some math tests, you are not allowed to use a calculator to respond to some of the test questions. You will see this warning that you cannot return to these test questions once you move on to the next question. You will not be able to return to these non-calculator test questions on the Review End Test screen. When you have finished your review, select the Review End Test button to return to the Test Review screen. When you are ready to finish the test, select the End Test button. The system will ask you to confirm that you have answered all the questions. You will not be warned if you have any questions flagged. When you are ready, select End Test. Follow the on-screen directions to close your test. There are presentation accommodations available during the Pennsylvania online assessments, including video sign language, audio, and color. These accommodations are available for all who qualify. To learn more about the video sign language accommodation that is available to students, explore a video sign language online tools training. Look for on-screen practice hints that will help guide you through the use of the video sign language features. Be sure to explore how to use the playback features of the video sign language video player. With an audio accommodation, words and numbers, including information contained in graphics and formulas, will be read aloud. Audio will automatically play and can be repeated as necessary. If the audio is restarted after being stopped, it will start over at the beginning. If the audio is paused, it will restart at the place where it was paused. In addition to basic operations, the audio accommodation allows students to select from multiple starting points within the test question. Select the Starting Points tool to find the start point dots. Volume and playback speed can be adjusted. Select the Options button and select Audio Settings to change these options. You can also turn the Follow Along option off and on by using the checkbox. In addition to the test questions, audio can be used to read pop-up labels, buttons, and the contents of the Help section. Separate start and stop playback controls are used for the Help section. Audio can continue to read the test question even when a calculator or other window, such as Help, is opened. Different background colors and font colors are available to make test questions easier to read. To change the background or font color, select the Options button. There are two options available. Color choices. Change the background color that will appear behind all text and graphics. Contrasting color. Change both the background color and font color at the same time. There are 6 color choices that can be selected. Select one of the background choices. Here, the pink background has been selected. There are 8 contrasting colors that can be selected. Select one of the background and font combinations. Here, the blue background with red font has been selected. If you need help with any of the color options, contact your teacher or test administrator.